As I mentioned in my video I published a few days ago, the California housing market is absolutely slowing down greatly. We're seeing a huge decrease of home sales, and also some areas are seeing home prices decrease on a month-over-month and also on a year-over-year basis. So check this out. This is according to a new report from the California Association of Realtors. California's median sold price actually declined by 3.5% in July, down to $833,910. That's basically down from the all-time record highs of $900,000 that was set just a few months ago. And now the median sold price in California has only increased by 2.8% compared to July 2021. So home prices declined by 3.5%, and also home prices only increased by 2.8% compared to 1 year ago. And by the way, according to the California Association of Realtors, this is the smallest year-over-year price gain in more than 2 years. And they state here that this price moderation or this price slowdown is largely attributed to a change in the mix of sales in July, as million-dollar home sales plummeted nearly 25% from June. So that's one factor. Another factor is due to a huge pullback in home buying demand, and let me share that with you right now. As I mentioned in my video from a few days ago, active listings, which is a total number of houses for sale in California as of the end of July, increased by 54.9% compared to 1 year ago. This is after it increased about 70% in the prior month. And again, we haven't seen gains like this in housing inventory going back all the way until at least 2015 right here. So despite the fact we have 55% more houses listed for sale right now, take a look at this. Pending home sales posted their second worst decline since this pandemic shut down this housing market. So pending home sales decreased by 39.2% compared to 1 year ago, despite the fact we have a 55% increase of active inventory. And according to the California Association of Realtors chief economist and vice president, who's Jordan Levine, I should say, home sales have taken a trouncing as the market has shifted in response to the recent surge in mortgage rates, and pending sales suggest that the market could remain soft in August. I would say will remain soft in August thanks to a 39% decrease in pending home sales in July. And he goes on to say the following here. The pace of sales declines is expected to slow in the coming months. In other words, the decrease we're seeing in sales right now is not going to be as great, but home sales are still expected to decrease in the months to come. However, though, he says, as rates continue to stabilize, market volatility begins to subside and supply conditions further normalize. In regards to his quote here that rates continue to stabilize, mortgage rates have not stabilized actually. Over the past 4 weeks, in fact, the average 30-year fix, according to the Mortgage News Daily, has increased by 90 basis points. And right now, at the time of this video, average mortgage rates are at 5.95%, the highest rates we've seen since June. Okay, changing gears slightly, let's talk about home sales at a regional level, and also going to be talking about home prices and housing inventory at a county level as well. And then stick to the end of this video too. I'm gonna be sharing some slides with you guys and also sharing home prices and home sales by county across the state here. So according to the California Association of Realtors here, at a regional level, sales continue to decline sharply, with 3 of the 5 major regions dropping more than 30% from last year. So they look at 5 major regions across the state, and 3 of those 5 actually decreased by 30% or more than 30% compared to 1 year ago. The Central Coast region experienced the biggest drop of all regions though, with home sales plummeting 37.3% from 1 year ago. That was followed by San Francisco Bay Area with a decrease of 37.2%. Also, 48 out of the 51 counties that the California Association of Realtors tracks recorded a decrease in home sales compared to 1 year ago. There was actually only 3 counties that they actually track where home sales actually increased compared to 1 year ago. In fact, home sales in 30 counties across the state here actually tanked more than 30% compared to 1 year ago. Santa Barbara experienced the biggest sales drop from last July at 50.3%, and that was followed by Santa Clara decreasing by 46.1%. And check this out because this is pretty eye-opening. The counties that experienced a sales decline compared to 1 year ago decreased on average by 30.2%. All right, changing gears slightly, let's talk about home prices and housing inventory by county in California here. It says that nearly 80% of all California counties continue to record an increase in their median sold prices on a year-over-year basis. In other words, approximately 20% recorded decrease in home sales compared to 1 year ago. And again, more on that later because I'm going to be sharing how each of the counties fared here at the end of this video here. So let's talk about active listings or housing inventory first though. So 46 of the 51 counties that they actually track here recorded a year-over-year increase of active listings in July. And check this out because this is pretty eye-opening here. 5 counties had triple-digit increases of housing inventory compared to 1 year ago. Yuba County led the pack with a growth rate of 169.8%. That was followed by Merced at 157%, and also Solano County at 125% increase in active listings compared to a year ago. Another trend we're seeing right now in California is the share of price reductions absolutely skyrocketing this year. So here's according to altosresearch.com. That's altosresearch.com. Check them out. They have a great YouTube channel if you guys want to see, new housing market updates according to them. Take a look at this. So in California, the 7-day average ending August 26th of this year is at 39.68%. So approximately 40% of all listings in California right now have already had price reductions. But check this out because this is pretty crazy. So right now the share is basically at 40%, but going back to February 25th of this year, the share was only 12.44%. So basically in 6 months, the share of price reductions went from 12%, now it's at 40%. Okay, changing gears slightly, I want to share some slides with you guys to share what's really going on by county across the state here. But first, let me show you basically a high-level overview of the state in case you missed my previous video here, and I'll only briefly touch on this. So here's the California housing market as of July 2022. Existing home sales declined 31.1%. Also, home prices only increased by 2.8%, and the unsold inventory index, look at that, increasing by 68.4%. We basically have a 3.2 month supply of houses right now. Also, the median days on the market is still very low at 14 days, but a 75% increase compared to 1 year ago. So that's a general overview regarding the state. Let's have a look at how each of the major regions have fared. So number 1, Southern California. Look at this. Existing home sales declining by almost 37% from 1 year ago. The median sold price at $808,000, increasing by 6.3% from July 2021. The unsold inventory index and also the days on the market basically in line with the state's average, and home prices on average selling for the seller's asking price. In the Central Coast, home sales declined by 37%. The median sold price there, $950,000, a gain of 9.3% year over year. Again, the unsold inventory index, days in the market, and also the sales price to list price ratio in line with the state's averages. In the Central Valley, home sales declining by 27%. The median sold price, $480,000, and home prices increasing by 6.2%. And all these other metrics here are basically in line with the state's average as well. The Bay Area is a little bit different though. So the Bay Area home sales declined by 37%. Look at this. The median sold price, $1.3 million. Go figure why a lot of people are moving from the Bay Area to the Central Valley. Look at that, $480,000 versus $1.3 million in the Bay Area. And by the way, this is the only major region out of the 5 regions that the California Association of Realtors tracks that recorded a decrease in the median sold price from a year ago, albeit a very small number here, but what a difference compared to basically the first half of this year, the start of this year, and also especially compared to 2021. So the median sold price decreasing slightly compared to 1 year ago. The unsold inventory index is very low, 2.5 months. Days on the market on par, and also the sales price to list price ratio is basically 100%. What is pretty astonishing regarding this number, though, is that this percentage here tends to be a lot higher than the state's averages, though, because for whatever reason, homes tend to get listed for far less than they feel the house is going to sell for. But that's no longer the case, or no longer the case for the region as a whole here, because home sellers are selling the houses for basically their asking price on average. The far north is the most affordable region here in California. As you can see here by the existing home price here, home prices increasing by 1.3%, home sales declining by 19.0% here. Days in the market and their unsold inventory index is very normal for this to be above the state's averages here, and also for this ratio here to be below 100%. Okay, let's talk about home sales across the state and also by region as well. So sales had the biggest drop since this pandemic shut down this housing market. Again, down 31.1%, basically on par with this huge decrease in home sales back in, I believe this was back in May and also in April 2021 due to the stay-at-home orders we had. Here's an interesting graphic showing the percent of home sales by region. So in SoCal, about 44% of all home sales in July were actually located in SoCal. The San Francisco Bay Area represented about 20%, and the Central Valley at 23%. And as you can see right here, home sales declined compared to 1 year ago, big time, across all major regions here. The far north only decreased by 19%, but all these other major regions here declined by more than 27%. And again, as I mentioned, pending home sales posted their worst decline since the pandemic shut down our housing market, declining by 39%, despite the fact that we have a huge uptick of houses for sale right now. So home prices. Home prices are landing at $833,000, or the median sold price is $833,000, declining by 3.5% in one single month, and also on a year-over-year basis, only increasing by 2.8%. And check this out because this is pretty remarkable as well. So this is the share of houses selling above their asking price. So in San Francisco, about 75% of the houses that sold in July sold above their asking price. If you go back, I would say probably 3, maybe to 5 months, this number would be well over 80%. I would say probably it's actually over 90%, if I'm not mistaken here, which is very, very uncommon because home sellers in San Francisco tend to list their houses far less than current market values, and therefore houses in San Francisco tend to sell for far more than asking price. But in July, approximately 25% actually sold below their asking price, which is definitely unusual for San Francisco. Something else I found to be very interesting here is that 5 out of these 50 counties that they actually are tracking here had a share at or above 50%. Those counties, of course, were San Francisco, followed by Alameda County, Marin County, San Mateo, and also Los Angeles. Therefore, 45 out of these 50 counties, the share was actually below 50%, meaning that on average, home sellers were selling their houses for less than their asking price. Okay, changing gears again, let's talk about housing inventory across the state here. So housing supply, or the month supply, is at 3.2 months, the highest level since 2019. As you can see right here, ever since March, this number has been increasing greatly and has accelerated in July. And as I mentioned earlier here, active listings, which is housing supply, is up 55% from 1 year ago. And basically over the past few months here is basically unheard of, going back at least until 2015. And here's the percent change of active listings by county as well. As I mentioned earlier, Yuba County housing supply increased 169.8% from 1 year ago. So a giant increase of housing supply in Yuba. I want to say Yuba City, but it's Yuba County. Also, we saw huge increases in Merced, Solano County, Sutter, Placer, and Humboldt as well. All right, so moving right along, let's talk about home sales and home prices by county and also by major region as well here. So if you guys want to pause and screenshot, feel free to do so. I'm not going to be talking about every single county within the state. Otherwise, this video would be 15 hours long. But I want to share the highlights though. So take a look at this. Here in California, this is the average home price for a single family home, or I should say the median sold price at $833,000. So look at this, home prices increasing by 2.8%. Again, these are for single family houses. But for condos and townhomes, look at that, 7.5% increase in home prices from 1 year ago. So the gains for condos have been greater than single family houses, which is pretty unusual. Home prices for single family houses tend to appreciate more than condos. But in my personal opinion, the reason for this is this. The median sold price for condos only $645,000, whereas single family houses $835,000 or $834,000. So condos and townhomes are definitely more affordable than single family houses. And because we had this housing affordability crisis across the state and also across the nation here, it's my personal opinion we're seeing an uptick in the interest of people buying condos. And that could be one reason why prices increase so much more than single family houses. In regards to home prices by region here, look at this. The San Francisco Bay Area, the only major region where home prices declined, or the median sold price actually decreased from a year ago. But look at this, in the Central Coast, look at that, increasing by 9.3%, and also the Inland Empire at 8.7%. So looking at each of these major regions, every housing market's different, right? We have a decrease of home prices from a year ago in the Bay Area, whereas in the Central Coast, increasing by 9.3%. What's pretty remarkable, though, is this big decrease of home sales, though, compared to a year ago. I mean, every single major region here declined by almost 30%, except for the far north, decreasing by 19%. But these big decreases from 1 year ago is something definitely to pay attention to. Let's first talk about the San Francisco Bay Area, then we'll talk about SoCal and all these other major regions here as well. So look at these home prices in San Francisco Bay Area, still very, very high compared to these other regions here. San Mateo County, the most expensive county within the state. The average single family home at $1.965 million. That's a median sold price in San Mateo as of July. But look at these price declines though. Price declines on a year-over-year basis we're seeing in Contra Costa County, Marin, San Francisco, as well as San Mateo as well. In stark contrast though, if you guys know what's going on in Napa, please let me know, because home prices increased by double digits on a month-over-month and also on a year-over-year basis. In regards to home sales compared to 1 year ago, home sales absolutely tanked. Most areas saw decreases of about 30% plus. But in Santa Clara, home sales declined by 46%. All right, so that was the Bay Area. Let's have a look at SoCal. So Orange County was the most expensive county within SoCal, according to the California Association of Realtors here, at $1.2 million. That's a gain of 12.9%. I mean, what a difference though. I always talk about how every housing market's different. It can be even different across the state, of course, and also by neighborhood as well. Because Orange County increasing by 12.9%, Ventura at 11.5% gain, drastically different compared to Contra Costa County, Marin, and San Francisco and San Mateo in the Bay Area. A lot of you ask about San Diego as well. So the county of San Diego, the median sold price at $930,000, an increase of 8.1% from 1 year ago. But look at this, a 41% decrease of home sales there, and every major county here declined by more than 30% of home sales. And all these counties here recorded a decrease of home sales from a year ago by at least 30%. Okay, let's talk about the Central Coast, which would be Monterey, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, and Santa Cruz, where I went to college. So Monterey County increasing by 8.2% from 1 month ago, and 11.5% from a year ago. San Luis Obispo increasing by 12.6%, and San Luis Obispo increasing by 12.6% on a year-over-year basis. And take a look at this, because I'm kind of scratching my head regarding this. In Santa Barbara, home prices, or the median sold price, declined by almost 30%. I'm guessing this is due to the mix of home sales. Maybe they had more home sales in the lower range compared to June 2022. If you guys know, leave me a comment below. Also in Santa Barbara, home sales declining by 50% compared to 1 year ago. Okay, let's talk about Placer County as well as Sacramento County in the Central Valley, of course. In Placer County, the median sold price was $712,000. In Sacramento at $550,000, both declining by about 1 to 2% from June 2022. And home prices increasing by 7 and also 9.6% in Placer here. And again, home sales declining greatly compared to 1 year ago, except for Tulare County, declining by only 8.2%. In Sacramento in particular, our average share of listings with price reductions right now is about 50%. This is because we saw a huge uptick of housing inventory and a pullback of home buying demand, like we've been seeing across the state and frankly across the nation. Other counties that I also want to talk about here as well is Lassen County. Look at this, home prices increasing by 20.9% and home sales increasing by 52%. I mean, what an anomaly compared to these other counties here in the state here. In Plumas County, look at this, home sales increasing by 9.1% as well. And lastly, in Humboldt County, home prices there increased by 16.2% from July 2021, and Mariposa County increasing by 57.3%. So please comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.